Hello po, Teacher Nani. Good morning po. So, I am Princess Roquino from Viscas. I am currently third-year student taking the course of Bachelor of Elementary Education. So, I am here po to conduct my interview about you po for being a literature teacher. So, good morning again everyone. I am with Mrs. Nani Artalig. So, a grade 5 elementary teacher in literature. At Shalom Bicol Faith Academy in Lupi, San Fernando, Camarines Sur. So, are you ready po, Teacher Nani? Okay. So, and now po, allow me to ask you the questions that I prepared. So, how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching for almost 3 years now. 2 years from my previous school at Princess Montessori and 1 year here in Shalom Bicol Faith Academy.
Okay po. So, how long have you been teaching literature po?
It's been 3 years.
3 years din po. So, how was your experience po, teacher?
So my experience was really grateful because I'm a teacher of literature and I'm also happy with that.
Okay po. So, are you still now teaching literature?
Yes.
Okay po. So, do you love teaching literature, teacher?
Yes, of course, because teaching is my passion.
Okay po. So, what genre of literature is your favorite?
So my favorite was fiction and non-fiction stories.
So, what type of literature or genre of literature that the children's enjoy?
So they enjoy fiction stories.
Okay po. So, in your first teaching journey, what is the first strategy po that you use?
So my first strategy that I use is short stories. I begin with letting them read short story first and then knowing the elements of the story, who was the character, the event, the setting.
Okay po. So, aside from what you have mentioned, like the short stories, elements of the story, what other good strategy that you use?
So sometimes I use language approach and the moral approach.
What is about the language approach?
It's all about what's about sentence composition, the grammar, and the knowledge that they have learned on the story.
Po. So, in 3 years of teaching literature po, what is the most effective learning activities or strategies that you use to make the literature interesting and more meaningful to young minds?
So sometimes I let them to have a role play through the story that they read.
Okay po. Like scenarios po for the
Yes.
story. Okay. So, what makes you pursue po and continue teaching literature?
So as I mentioned earlier that it was my passion, also this part of my teaching here in elementary school, we have a lot of books that we read from American literature here in our school.
Okay po. Does it makes you help po to become an effective literature reading books?
So maybe, yes.
So, you said po earlier that teaching is your passion. You said then earlier po that you are a grade 5 teacher. So, if you have given a chance to teach children at the primary grades, would you still grab it? Why or why not?
For me, yes, because it's really fun teaching in literature. And also, it's easy for me to teach the elementary, the grade 1, primary, the grade 1 to 3, than the 4 to 6.
Okay, so how do you say po if the children really learn from your lesson?
Maybe they tell me what the things that they've learned through reflection. I let them write what they have learned and I just let them sometimes conclude what will happen next.
Okay.
That's my strategy sometimes.
So, what is your primary goal po in teaching literature?
For me, the primary goal is I wanted them to learn more about the grammar, the vocabulary, sentence construction, and then also most of all the moral lessons of each stories.
Stories po, and as well as po the spelling skills of the children
Yes.
will also improve.
Yes.
So, what is the most fulfilling part of being a literature teacher?
For me, the most fulfilling part is if you see your students are learning from you, they learn something from it, and it's very happy for me to know that they are learning.
Okay, that's the primary goal of a teacher. So, what is the most challenging part of being a literature teacher?
For me, the most challenging part is when sometimes they have different level of understanding. Sometimes they misinterpret what the questions, or sometimes they don't know what will be the answer of the particular questions from the story. It's very difficult for me.
Okay, po. So, how did you overcome it?
So for me, I overcome it. I just encourage them to read, and also myself, I was able to challenge myself to read more and more, so that I also understand the story, so that I can easily to transfer what I've learned to them.
Okay, po. So, is it really hard po to teach literature?
At first, yes, it's really hard. But if you were going to continue it will be soft and you will be happy.
Okay po. So, along with teaching literature, what qualities should a literature teacher must possess?
So, as a literature, you should be, you should have more patience. You need to be more diligent in reading a lot of books so that you can share it to your students.
Okay po. So, what advice you can share or give to me in order for me po to be an effective teacher in the near future?
So, I advise you to study well and finish your studies, do your best in your studies, and make every opportunity to study despite of the difficulties that sometimes we were going to face. You need to continue to pursue your dream.
Okay po. Thank you po. So, thank you for that honest answers, Teacher Nani. So, I'm happy that I learned a lot from you. Like, I realized that my capabilities right now is not yet complete for me to be an effective teacher, but I'm trying all my best to be like you, to be an effective teacher in literature. So, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for being part of my journey, in becoming a teacher someday. So, thank you po.
You're welcome.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.